Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pratik Gandhi, and I'm a part of Indian film industry and a theatre industry as well. Predominantly, I worked in Gujarati theatre, Gujarati films, and in Hindi films also, and web series, of course. I could do all these things, and I've been doing all these things since the age of 4. Because for the first time when I stepped on the stage, I was in 4th standard. And before that, I kept doing something or the other in the school assembly. That's where my teachers picked me up for one of the annual functions, and that's where my journey of theatre started. Back then, I had no clue that what am I doing with my own self? What is pushing me there? Because I had no idea of this approach called why not? Because back then, we were always told to ask why. We were always asked why. Why do you want to do this? Why this? Why that? And because I guess we come from the society where safety is of the utmost requirement, security is of the utmost requirement. And though I come from a Gujarati family, none of the family members ever did any business. They were always into jobs and service industry. So they were all teachers. So I keep saying that I come from a family that believed in FD, fixed deposits. We never invested anywhere else because that's where the security is. And I guess we did not have that much of resources back then to ask why not anywhere else, because that was the only thing that we had. So we had to manage within that. As I started growing up, unknowingly, I kept asking why not at each and every juncture of my life. And that led me do something that I had never thought I'll do. And none of the family members also did. Though I'm fortunate enough that my family always believed in music and arts. So we were always told that music and art has to be a part of your life, but not necessarily be your career. Because that's not normal. That's not conventional. And why not is the only approach that asks question of the conventional. That why this? Why not that? As I said, I had no clue about it. I kept doing what I felt passionate about. And earlier on my age, I had developed multiple passion disorder, which later on people started calling disorder. That's when I understood. Otherwise, it was multiple passion always for me. Because I used to get passionate about theatre, I used to get passionate about sports. I always wanted to be on stage. And this magic of stage that I understood when I first stepped on the stage, as I said in 4th standard, where there was something in my mind, I performed, and people reacted. So that was a magic. I had not communicated to anybody that this is the point where you are supposed to laugh. This is the point where you are supposed to clap. This is the point where you are supposed to feel emotional. It was only there in my mind because I had written the story. I had asked my friends to perform with me. We decided amongst ourselves that you say this line, I'll say this line. There were a couple of stories that I heard, and I made a skit out of it, which got translated. So that was a magic. And I said, if this is the magic, why not continue it? I continued that magic for the longest time of my life. I still do stage shows. And I still feel that this magic is unmatchable. This is the magic that connects heart to heart, emotion to emotion. So my first why not started on stage. And theatre has given me almost everything. The discipline, the approach, and 360-degree vision to the worldview. Because in theatre, whatever line that we see, the moment we get a script, we used to read that script for 25 days. Twice in one session, so around 50 readings before we step on the stage. And those 50 readings of a same script in the same line, we try to recreate those dialogues in different ways. All the different emotions. And every time you feel that this will not work, the question that you're supposed to ask is, why not? So keep trying, and something magically comes to you which the writer had never thought of, which the director had never visualized, and as an actor, which was never there in my mind. but that suddenly appears in front of you. So this constant approach of why not on each and every line helped me way back in my theaters till the point I did one of the biggest series, defining series of my life, which is Scam. Because all those lines that you've heard in the series, I would say these are very filmy lines. Risk hai to ishq hai, success kya hai, failure ke baad ka naya chapter. These are all very filmy lines. Had it been delivered differently, with a little bit of higher swag, I don't think it would have landed well. So to reach to this particular point that this has to be delivered in this pitch, this tone, and at this time, had undergone a lot of why nots within the team and within myself as an actor. That's how it translates. Well, I don't know whether it translated the best way or no, but this is the best that I'm sure that I did with myself. I'll again take you to the earlier years of my life. So I started theater journey in Surat, that's my hometown. Now, as I come from a small city, well, it was a small city back then, and theater scene was a very limited scene because Surat had few theater groups which would meet once in a year only for the Surat Municipal Corporation Theatre Festival and the competition. So we would prepare for one play, one performance for 6 months, and we would get only one chance, only one show that will decide the winners. So while doing that, I saw that nobody is a full-time actor because theatre will not help you survive only with theatre as a career. Everybody would do day jobs. At night, we would meet at somebody's terrace, practice for 6 months, and perform one show. So I took it to myself that this is how it is going to be throughout the life because I had no clue about the other world. After 12th science, I did my mechanical engineering, and that too in diploma. Because 12th science, I did not have that great marks that I got direct admission in degree. So I had to go through the diploma route. I did my diploma for 3 years and then took up a job. My first job was in sales. A lot of friends told me that you are an engineer, why do you want to go in sales? And then a lot of other friends says that engineers can fit in anywhere in the world. So why not? And that's how I started my first job as a sales guy. My first day of the job, and I was put into a very difficult task. I had to go and sell a cooling tower fan controller system to one of the companies in GIDC in Surat. I had no clue what was the company. And I was very confident because I had read the whole document about the product. So fresh out of the college, as we all know that once you know the book, you feel that you know the world. But the world is absolutely different. So when I met that person, he turned out to be a scientist himself. So his first 3 questions, and I was answerless. I had no answers. And he said that, young man, you are not prepared enough. We'll see you next time. And I was furious from within that why was I sent here on my first day? And my superior, the owner of the company who sent me there, because I was just, out of college, a young blood, and I was furious from within. I just straight away went to him and I asked him, why did you do this to me? You should have at least told me that who am I going to meet? And he said, I didn't tell you because otherwise you wouldn't have had this experience. Now this experience will stay with you for life. And this will help you prepare better for anything that you do next time. Well, I didn't gather much of what he said then. But when I came back to Bombay and I started going for auditions and getting rejections day after day after day after day, first 50 auditions and I was rejected outright. That's when I started thinking that I had that confidence that I have done enough theater in my hometown, which will land me a good role on television immediately, which never happened. So I had to ask myself, why am I here? And the answer was, why not? Because this particular industry is a big, big black hole. Why I call it a black hole is, nobody knows what happens next. Even if you deliver one super hit film, you don't know what's the future. Because one super hit film will not make your dream come true for the whole life. The moment your film is delivered, immediately you have to have another film which will still ask the same kind of zest, still ask the same kind of discipline and same kind of questions, that the future is absolutely unknown. So why not play with this unknown? Why not accept this unknown as a regular life? And now then, there are a lot of well-wishers in your life who keep telling you that you are a first-class engineer. Why do you want to get into this uncertain world? But then I said that if I don't do it right now, I'll not be able to do it ever. So then I decided that I'll do two things together. By 2004, I was done with my graduation in industrial engineering. And I thought that I want to pursue two things together, my engineering and my acting. And the only possible place that I thought was Mumbai. So 2004, I went to Mumbai, where my friends and my well-wishers, my family members told me that don't do this mistake. This is a dream world, absolutely uncertain, full of variables. And you tell me one Gujarati actor who came from a smaller town from Gujarat and made it big in Bollywood or in Indian film industry after Sanjeev Kumar. I had no answer. And then I said that I'll pursue two things together, engineering and acting, so that it'll help me survive in a city like Mumbai. And they said, it's not possible. Why do you want to do this? I said, why can't I do this? They said that be a master of one. Because if you be jack of all, master of none, you will not be able to survive. And I said that I want to be master of all. Let me try. So there were a lot of debate, more so within myself than the outer world, because all these questions, when posed to you by the outer world, it is more for your own consumption. So most of the time I had that debate within myself, that why do I want to do this? And the only answer that kept coming is why can't you do it? Because there are only 24 hours in a day. 8 hours you have to sleep. And in city like Mumbai, you have to travel. The travel time, so distance is always measured in travel time. It is never measured in kilometers. So my office was somewhere else in Navi Mumbai. I was staying in one of the suburbs in western side of Bombay. And my travel time would require 2.5, 3 hours a day, to and fro. So after that, I was left with only 6 hours to give to the family and to practice theater or to go for the auditions. So I said, now I want to do it. And what happened after that was a magic. Suddenly I saw that my productivity doubled up, because I saw and I felt that there is zero scope for an error. In office, nobody was interested whether I want to be an actor, whether I am trying to make my stand clear in this unknown world of media. And in theater world, or wherever I used to go for auditions, they were not bothered about where am I coming from. Why do I look like that? Why am I always drenched and perspiring before I stand in front of the camera and giving my auditions? But the magic was that my productivity suddenly doubled up. With zero scope for an error, I started paying 10 times more attention in my office, where I'm making Excel sheets after Excel sheets after Excel sheets, and PPTs after PPTs after PPTs. Once you guys will go in the professional world, you will know that the PPTs will be a never-ending process. It is always PPT final, final one, final two, final one. And it'll keep on going till the time the work is done. And you may never know, even the work is done, it is inaugurated, and you are still making the final one PPT. So I was coming from that world of corporate, and then straight going for one of the shows or the auditions. So in the audition and in the show, I had zero scope for an error. So the moment I would get any other play, I would travel in trains and buses, so that while I travel, I can mug up my lines. Because I knew that because of my job timings, the team there are managing odd timings for my rehearsals. So I would go for rehearsals at around 9:30 at night, or morning 6:30, which are odd timings for rehearsals, because that's also an industry. They also have working times. But because of my job, they had to manage these odd timings. So if they are doing so much for me, I can't waste that time. So before I go there in the rehearsal hall, I should be ready with my lines. With this in mind, all the travel time that I utilized for by hearting the script. At the same time, in the office, I had to complete my 8 hours of job in 6 hours. Now, that was a constant target that I kept for myself, which worked very well in Indian corporate world, because 8 hours will never be enough for any work, though the work is designed for 8 hours. But 8 hours are never enough, and you are expected to sit late in the office. Now, that's the culture that we are trying to change now, and which is almost changed in India. So with these two things, I was riding on two horses simultaneously. And I was hoping that both the horses keep up with each other as far as the speed is concerned. Because if one lags behind, I'll fall down. But what if the one picks up the speed, which I wanted always? Who doesn't like the speed? And 2016 was a time where that happened. In fact, both the horses have picked up the speed. My corporate world and corporate career also picks up well. And before that, I had completed BAR, one of the Gujarati films. And my second Gujarati film, Side Raju, was released and nominated for national awards. Now, that was a time where I had two offers. Yeah, thank you. So that was a time where I had two offers from one of the big fours consultancy agencies, because my profile was such in the corporate that I was an industrial engineer attached to HR, so management and technology both put together was a perfect fit for consultancy. One of the big fours, I had an offer in my hand, and I had to decide now what to do. Because if I pick up that offer, I had to leave Bombay. And if I leave Bombay, my acting career will be at stake. And if I leave those things, then I'm in a complete uncertain world. So I had to leave those golden shackles of job, security, and salary. And that's when I asked why to myself and my family. I kept asking this question to my family because I wanted answer from within for myself. And the only answer I got is, why not? What will you lose? So what will I lose if I don't succeed? I might lose a good salary. I might lose a so-called social status. I might lose my regular income. I will not be able to buy a new house, will not be able to buy a car ever. But more so, I'll be happy always because this was my decision. So why not? And that worked. I quit my job in 2016. And after that, I did around 8 Gujarati films. My first Hindi film, Mitro, then the second Hindi film. And I had no clue that 2019 had something really big for me. In 2019, I was offered Scam. I started shooting for it. And 9th October 2020, when the Scam was released, the world changed. 10th October morning when I woke up, the world has completely changed for me. The way they looked at me earlier was changed. I suddenly saw glitters in their eyes because my world has changed. Suddenly I saw a lot of excitement around me. People wanted to work with me. I started getting offers. And all the questions that I had in my mind about why this, suddenly had an answer. That why not? Because this why not changed my life upside down. This why not throughout my life helped me to face the failure. And that's the only thing that we need in life. Once we start facing the failures, once we start acknowledging the failures, this absolutely becomes a stepping stone for success. So then this becomes the life, this becomes the mantra of my life. कि success क्या है? Failure के बाद का नया chapter. So why not? So with this, I never intended to give any gyan. I was just trying to share the experience that I had. And the only one request or one submission to you all young minds here, that never be afraid of failures, because these failures are given to the dear ones the God loves the most, because these are the failures, these are the experiences that can teach you life. Nothing in the world can teach you that. Thank you very much.